Good afternoon, my name is Rachel Smilovich, and this is my presentation for the Brigance assessment. As you can see, I pulled up the screen for Brigance.com, where it shows a selection of various assessments, beginning with early childhood to all the way to high school, special ed. You can click on today, and we'll be talking about pieces of different series. If you click here on series, you can see there's different ones for early childhood, Head Start, special ed. If I click on special ed and scroll down, you're going to see the CIBS 2, which is what I'm going to be talking about mostly today, which is the comprehensive inventory of basic skills 2. Now on this test, this particular assessment is given to students ages pre-K through 8th grade. And here you can see I've got a copy of the test, and it comes with also a record book. Now in this record book is used for the teacher or proctor, whoever's given the assessment, to record the student data. The first page tells you how to score it, circle each correct answer, underline the skills that need to be further taught, the student data. Again, gives you choices here. This is a test booklet I used when I tested a student for the previous assignment. So here I can see the date given and anything they've mastered, any issues, circled it. Now I did it in pencil. If I were to give this assessment to the student again, I would change the color to to show improvements or any other skills mastered or deficits. Now, if I were starting with the younger student, then I would start with the readiness. But seeing as I tested a student that was entering 3rd grade, I skipped through all the oral reading, all the comprehension, and I only assessed the math part of it. But it is criterion referenced. It is based on the academic standards, and this provides the data to teachers on whether or not there's an online issue. So for example, the Brigance Comprehensive Inventory Math booklet begins with, if I can get it to stay open, starts off with basics of here are some of the skills: speech, reading, listening, word analysis. Today I'm going to show you the math portion of it. There isn't overall guidelines of where it tells you to start. So the first thing you need to do, whether it's reading or math, is decide where the student places. So for example, if I'm assessed a student in kindergarten, I would start here. But for my assignment, I started testing a student that was in 2nd grade going into 3rd grade, just to see if they place on 3rd grade math or 2nd grade. So for this student, I follow the directions here, in which case you give the student a written copy of the assessment. Here's a copy I made for my student. There is no time limit on this, and you just read the prompts as follows. For example, number 1, you would say, write the hundreds, tens, and ones in each number. And there you can see you wrote a 6, 3, and 7. And they would follow that till they were done. If this student mastered it at least 80% correct, then you move on to the next one, which I did, which is the 3rd grade placement. Here the student struggled with 3rd grade math. Therefore, I stopped and I continued on to follow in the directions where it says if they place in 3rd grade, give them a copy and then go down to 3rd grade assessments. So I went to 3rd grade to begin my assessment. This skill is knowing or recalls basic facts. So on this one, I would follow the directions. Here it gives you the answer scales and everything else. So I continued that through each subsection. This subsection has algebra, geometry, measurement, and data analysis. As you can see, I stopped when the student started to struggle I used my record book to continue scoring. Here you can see where it goes to. And you can see here I wrote written response because he completed the work on the worksheet. You got this section is correct, yet underlined it because the student was unable to master 80% the skills of writing the numbers, or here as well. So therefore I skip to the next section. Again, these are skill related, so the teacher, whoever's assessing it, can go through it and go through the skills needed. So there's numbers, operations, then you go into algebra, in which case it tells you grades 3 through 5 because of where he placed. So here in algebra, multiplication processes, repeating patterns, and so on and so forth. There is an online, this book is used for each student to keep in the classroom. There is an online access to Brigance.com where you can actually enter the scores in yourself, and therefore it's all calculated for you. So again, if you were to enter this into the scoring, then you could see that, excuse me while I just place it into a safer spot. You can see that it automatically tells you the scoring and if there's an issue to be done. Again, this Brigance Comprehensive Inventory Basic Skills 2 is only one of the criterion reference assessments in a series designed to be administered in the classroom setting by teachers. These assessments are used to produce a range of data on student skill levels under everyday conditions. Therefore, the information gathered can be used to plan daily lessons, IEP goals, progress monitoring, determine grade placement in various subjects, strengths and weaknesses across skill levels. And this test is available in reading, math, and ELA. Again, at special ed, early childhood, everything. So the earlier the child is given these assessments, the better chance it is to get placed in either as gifted, possibly having an issue with a learning disability, or nothing at all, which we all hope for. So I would be giving this test, this assessment for my students as a special ed teacher to get a baseline of what skills do they know, what they need to work on, and I would use this as a progress monitoring with them to see what they need to work on and not. In the reading portion, which I don't have in front of me right now, tests for speech, word recognition, vocabulary, and each time the student masters a level, the reading comprehension passages get a little harder, and the higher thinking strategies are required, like cause and effect, or some reason, things like that. You need 80% or mastery, or whatever specified in each assessment. The good thing about this is you don't have to keep giving the same thing over and over again. You can just go back and begin where you left off to keep testing students on specific skills. For the younger students, you could do the Brigance Early Childhood Screening, where it's simple tasks like standing on one leg, drawing simple shapes, asking them their name. Then we can go into a different one for upper level, which is for secondary, the Diagnostic Life Skills Inventory, which makes sure the students are ready to exit into the real world with life skills such as reading signs, warning labels, money, and basics like that. The Brigance series overall I found was a nice, inexpensive, reliable way for teachers to administer assessments according to their students' needs. And because it's not time limited, the student doesn't feel pressured on having to rush. They can take it at their own pace. The student gets tired, they can come back and they can finish it another time, which is terrific. There have been several studies on this, by Brigance itself. There certain ones that I mentioned were, I can show you here on the screen. These are my references. I did a lot from Brigance online. Curriculum Associates are the ones that actually wrote the books and published it. Then I have Glasgow, did a lot of research, academic journals regarding behavior screening for developmental problems, for testing early screenings. Can you screen for gifted, academically talented, and some other thing, some examples on YouTube by Hawker, Brownlow Education. Shows various test samples of students from 5 years old on up doing the various screening tests to give an example of how easy it is to test and record the data given. I really hope you enjoyed this quick video of the different selections. Again, each one is easy, convenient. The whole series for the Comprehensive Inventory Basic Skills I looked up online. It's only a little over $300, which if you're on a budget and you're using your classroom money is really not bad. It is research-based again. It is along lines of similarity to AIMSweb as far as progress monitoring, but this is in greater depth as far as actually screening for possible learning disabilities or even giftedness. Thank you.